Hey man, say man, it's your boy DAALIGHT man, Daylight TV, back at y'all with another one. And on this trip, we're gonna recap week 4 of America's very first Frico conspiracy trial against Sean Diddy Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P Diddy, aka Brother Love, aka the John Gotti of Baby Oil, or as I've been calling him, Baby Oil Diddy. Baby oil Diddy. That nigga. But yeah, hit that like and subscribe button, smash that notification bell if you're really mobbing with the content. Daylight TV. Let's get it. So on Monday, June 2nd, 2025, the Diddy trial saw the conclusion of the testimony of former personal assistant identified by the pseudonym Mia. She had been on the stand for 3 days detailing allegations of physical and sexual abuse she allegedly experienced during her employment with Diddy from 2009 to 2017. Diddy's attorney attempted to undermine Mia's claim by highlighting past friendly text messages and social media posts, which we discussed in the earlier recap, that she had shared about Combs. Mia explained that these actions were the result of being brainwashed and fearing for her safety. Mia also described an environment of control where Diddy would scream at her, humiliate her, and threaten her job if he believed she wasn't meeting his expectations, even for tasks like promoting his birthday. So, really sounds like you just had an asshole boss that was barking on you about your job, or he had higher expectations and all of this other shit that you had going, whatever you had going on. Because I mean, when you think about Diddy's career, bro, he started off as a gopher, the intern, going getting dry cleaning, coffee, lunch, and like worked his way up. So we saw with the making the band thing when he made the niggas walk the cheesecake and all that. He's very much into like corporate hazing, so to speak. And he talked to people crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just what it is. Like, I'm not saying that it's right. Like, it's probably not how I would run my business, you know what I mean? Or treat my people for sure. But, that shit does happen more often than not, you know? Sylvia Oxen, an employee at the Beverly Hills Hotel, testified about hotel records related to Diddy's stays, including charges for cleaning and damages. She also mentioned that Diddy would sometimes use the alias Frank Black to check in. Now, that's crazy, bro, because why did he want to go and play with the Frank White legacy or whatever and shouldn't be Frank Black? Like, we all know that the moniker Frank White, King of New York, classic movie. So like, not only is Biggie one of my favorite MCs, but damn, it's like you playing with that and one of my favorite movies, bro. It's Christopher Walken, Larry Fishburne, back when he was Larry Fishburne. You understand what I mean? What the hell? David Caruso, goddamn Wesley Snipes. Like, it's like an all-star cast, man. You know what I'm saying? This nigga out here, Frank Black. Yeah, whatever. But speaking of hotel employees, prosecutors mentioned that Eddie Garcia, who worked in security at the Intercontinental Hotel, was expected to testify next under an immunity order, and that another accuser identified under the pseudonym Jane, was expected to testify later on in the week. Now, while we're on the subject of people testifying under pseudonyms, the identity of the witness known as Mia was leaked to the public. Information suggests that a YouTube streamer who revealed Mia's identity had been banned from returning to the court. But the specific name of the YouTube individual or their YouTube channel was not publicly mentioned in anything that I found. The word is, however, that Mia is Sarah Snedeker. I believe I'm saying her name right. Now, it wasn't really hard to figure out, who Mia was, because one only had to look up TV series based on Diddy's assistant, and you will find the article published by Rolling Stone magazine in October of 2015 with the headline that reads, Sean Combs developing sitcom based on his assistant. And that if the show was greenlighted, it would air on ABC. And that also led to the social media post that was brought up during Mia's cross-examination surfacing of her praising Diddy after suffering years of alleged abuse. I want to say it was for his 44th birthday or whatever. We got the
clip. Shameless plug. Gotta put my lip gloss on. Poppin'! Puff Daddy, the living legend himself, you have not only revolutionized the game, but the entire world. I'm so blessed to call you my friend. Thank you for truly being one of the biggest inspirations in my life. To another 44 years of brilliance, let's fuck shit up. I love you. Happy birthday.
So Essence Magazine would even have a article on their website published October 27, 2020, 5 years after the Rolling Stone article, with a similar headline that read, Diddy producing ABC sitcom based on the life of his assistant. Now, the article will go on to say that Deadline reported that Diddy was or has signed on to produce the upcoming ABC sitcom that was tentatively titled The Hustle. The comedy based on Diddy's real-life assistant, Sarah Snedeker, follows a small-town girl who gets a job with a A-list hip-hop mogul. That's you, shorty, and that damn sure Diddy. Now, on Tuesday, June 3rd, the Diddy trial saw key testimony related to his alleged actions and impact that they had on his business and finances. But an outburst occurred in the courtroom before testimony would begin, involving a woman described as being a supporter of Diddy. The woman was in the courtroom audience and stood up and shouted, Diddy, these motherfuckers are laughing at you. It's kind of funny because I've been laughing at Diddy since this shit started, and even before then. But they said she made profanity-laced statements and seemingly challenged the judge and court marshals. The woman reportedly had been at the courthouse for several days and was usually in the overflow room watching the proceedings on the live feed. Yeah, because I imagine that courtroom is standing room only. Like, if you don't get there, you're not, So, yeah, that's wild, bro. Like, they just, like, kind of in a room. I'm going to assume that the overflow room kind of resembles, y'all remember, like, when you used to watch the People's Court and the dude from TMZ now, he would, like, standing there and there'd be people behind him and shit like that or whatever. I'd be thinking that's what the overflow room is. Because usually when I go to court, I was on the defense side. Some sources suggest that the outburst may have been prompted by a disagreement with a court martial about removing her hat. Chick is bugged out. I wonder what kind of hat she had on or whatever. It probably said some crazy shit. And it kind of makes me think about the crazy broad that was outside saying, I want to
do a freak off. Can somebody bring me to a freak off? All right, I want to go to a freak off. I want to get just like Cat Diddy. I need to get a freak off. That's what I want.
Diddy reportedly turned around and looked at the woman during her rant, but he remained in his seat during the whole disruption. But the last thing that boy needs is to get held in contempt of court. Once the order was restored in the courtroom, Eddie Garcia, a former hotel security officer, testified that Combs paid him $100,000 in a paper bag for the surveillance footage showing him assaulting his former girlfriend Cassie in 2016, the image we all know about. Garcia said that Diddy was concerned about the video and the possibility of it ruining his career if it got out. Garcia also indicated that he was concerned about legal repercussions if Cassie reported the incident to the police, but Diddy had assured him that she wanted it gone too, meaning that she didn't want the tape to get out there either. Garcia signed a non-disclosure agreement with a $1 million penalty. So pretty much, yeah, like, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I might have taken 100K too. I don't know how much, you know, head security guard will make at the Intercontinental Hotel like a year, but for some reason, not wrapping my head around 100K, but I'd be surprised if it was. Because unless, you know, like you have a real career, six-figure, you know, job and everything, you might consider like, oh, I can keep making this if I just keep going, do my job well. You know what I'm saying? But then again, you know, 100,000 in a lump sum and 100,000 over the course of a year, it hit different, you know. But the $1 million penalty or whatever, I guess, is just like if you break the non-disclosure agreement, you're gonna have to pay me $1 million. But the wild part about it is, if the non-disclosure agreement or whatever is to cover up something illegal, I don't think that the NDA will, you know, prevent them from being able to testify. Clearly not, you know. So yeah, that's that. Because, you know, bro, if he's willing to risk his job or whatever for 100K, he damn sure ain't got $1 million to pay the penalty. So he was gonna keep that shit quiet. And that's probably why he testified under the immunity, because there's an obstruction of justice charge in that shit too. By you not being, you security, you didn't report an incident, and then you suppressed the evidence. So yeah, that's obstruction of justice. That's why he needed the immunity. Dexter Ferguson. Hey, I meant to say Derek Ferguson, not Dexter. I thought Bromley was related to ASAP Ferg too, but he wasn't. But back to the content. Combs' former chief financial executive officer, so this is the CFO for Bad Boy Entertainment, testified about managing Diddy's finances and the operations of his business venture. He said that he helped Diddy manage both personal and business transactions. Ferguson stated that he never witnessed Diddy commit any crimes or acts of violence, but he did admit that the company assistants and security personnel were paid for through the company, even for Diddy's personal safety. The jury was shown bank statements from December of 2021 that prosecutors say corroborate previous testimony from Cassie's mother, who claimed that Diddy threatened to leak sex tapes of Cassie unless her family wired him $20,000. The statement showed a transfer from Combs' account to Cassie, followed by a transfer from Cassie's father to Bad Boy, which was later returned to the sender. Now, if Diddy was pressing Cassie's mom to send the $20K, and the statement is showing the transfer from Combs to Cassie's account. And then Cassie's father sends some money, but then the money gets sent back. That means that he never got the money. And then, I mean, because it's questionable, like if he ever got the money or if he did. And then if the tape didn't come out and he actually, and the money got sent back, it's just, I don't know. That's just kind of weird. But aside from outbursts and testimony, both prosecution and defense teams submitted requests before the court. The prosecutors requested that the court ban certain individuals they claim revealed the real name of Mia, a former assistant who testified under the pseudonym. I said shitty. Who testified under a pseudonym. And my guess is they're referring to whatever YouTube streamer who we already spoke about. Now, I thought the YouTube streamer was ejected from the court, but the judge seemed to be reported saying that he would consider a written request to have certain people removed from the court. The defense just requested permission to use the courtroom after trial day to review text messages with Diddy. Because if you remember in the previous video, I said that they expressed issues or difficulties preparing for the case with their client because of restrictions at the Manhattan Detention Center, where Diddy has been held since his arrest in September of 2024. Now, on Wednesday, June 4th, 2025, in the Diddy case, Brianna Bana Bongolan, I want to say that's how you pronounce her name, a friend of Cassie's, testified about alleged incidents of abuse and threats by Diddy. Bongolan alleged that in September 2016, Diddy held her over a 17-story balcony, stating, "I am the devil and I can kill you." She says he also threw her onto balcony furniture, causing bruising and pain. She still experiences nightmares and paranoia due to the incident, she said. The defense challenged Bongolan's testimony and questioned the inconsistencies in her account of what happened that day and suggest that she was motivated by a lawsuit filed against Diddy. Evidence presented that Diddy may have actually been somewhere else at the time of the alleged balcony incident. Bongolan acknowledged that she was using drugs with Diddy and Cassie, including selling them drugs. She stated that she was testifying because she was subpoenaed and granted immunity. She confirmed speaking with Cassie after Cassie filed her lawsuit, but refused Cassie's request to be named in connection with the balcony incident. So basically, she was cool with Cassie. Whatever association she had with Cassie basically led to her getting allegedly hung over the balcony on some Suge Knight Vanilla Ice type shit, even though Vanilla Ice said that never happened. And it just kind of makes me think when, back when they were telling me one day you're gonna realize that Diddy is Suge and Suge is Diddy as far as public perception. Like Suge is painted out to be this monster, the devil, you understand? But the whole time, Diddy really might be the one, bro. And, Diddy was always perceived to be the safe one. Happy-go-lucky, partying, dancing, you know what I'm saying? Not too aggressive, right? A forensic video expert, Frank Piazza, also testified discussing a compilation of videos of the 2016 hotel footage showing Diddy assaulting Cassie. Piazza testified the Well, Piazza verified the authenticity of the video admitted into evidence, including 10 sexually explicit videos that are sealed from the public. He stated that the video showed no sign of tampering. So, yeah, those are the tapes. I don't know if because there were like tape they said that they found in Diddy's mansion or whatever during the raid. So I don't know if that's that or, they're saying Cassie has some pictures and stuff on her laptop. So, who knows, right? On Thursday, June 5th, 2025, the Diddy trial continued with significant developments, primarily focusing on the testimony of a woman using the pseudonym Jane. Jane took the stand and testified about her relationship with Diddy from 2021 until his arrest in September of 2024. She alleged that Diddy pressured her into having sex with other men, often involving male escorts, and that these encounters, referred to as hotel nights or Frico, became a significant part of their relationship. Jane testified that Combs financially supported her during their relationship, including paying her rent, and that he threatened to stop his support if she refused to participate in the sexual encounters. This suggests a power dynamic where she felt obligated to comply with his demand due to financial dependence. Yeah, it sounds like you're gonna put yourself through some real hard shit in a relationship just so that you can have an easy life. That's what it sounds like. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, you could have just left all that shit and got a job. Go back home. I don't know, whatever home life is, but it's like better things to do, bro. I said that in another video about, the job being threatened and everything like that. And I told all the ladies, like, your safety comes first, man. Fuck that job. You'll find another one. You know what I'm saying? Jane also testified about the use of drugs during these encounters, stating that Diddy would provide and determine the doses of drugs like ecstasy and ketamine. She recounted multiple instances where she told Diddy she didn't want to engage in these activities, but he dismissed her request and told her that they could end their relationship if she didn't agree. During the cross-examination of the previous day's witness, Brianna Bongolan, the judge observed Combs looking at the jury and nodding vigorously. So on Thursday, the presiding judge admonished Combs for his behavior, stating it was absolutely unacceptable and warning him that further attempt to interact with or influence the jury would lead to his exclusion from the courtroom. Diddy's lawyers assured the judge that it wouldn't happen again. On Friday, June 6, 2025, the Diddy trial continued with the testimony of Jane, a former girlfriend of Sean Diddy Combs, who gave tearful and detailed account of alleged abuse and sexual encounters she endured during their relationship. She testified about agreeing to a love contract with Sean Diddy Combs after a trip to Turks and Caicos, where she received $10,000 a month to remain in his life. She used the money to rent a home for herself and her child. And Diddy also paid for furniture and cosmetic dental work because he didn't like her teeth. Jane continues her testimony about encounters with other men, which she described as hotel nights. She stated that she felt compelled to send him photos when she was ill to prove that she was too sick to participate in the encounters. So I guess like whenever this dude wanted a hotel night, if she wasn't feeling up to it, like she had to send physical proof that this shit weird as hell, bro. But again, like, I don't know, bro. This shit is strange to read. Uh, she also described feeling hurt and so cheap when Diddy started dating another woman shortly after her birthday, which also ended with a hotel night. So basically, even on Jane's birthday, where it's supposed to all be about her, it's her special day, you still got her doing the hotel night thing or whatever, like essentially being a train track. Like you letting people run trains on this girl. I don't like this. I mean, I don't like none of it, but this right here is strange as hell, bro. Because this isn't an assistant or an employee. This is just somebody that you was in a regular relationship with. So pay attention, because like while this is like really disturbing and sick, it kind of goes to a point I'm gonna make later. Jane also testified that Diddy threatened to stop supporting her financially after she fought with him and wanted to cancel a hotel night. Well, the agreement, you kind of agreed to go into this uh situationship after the Turk and Caicos trip when you took the first $10,000. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, you could say no, and then he's just gonna threaten to take the money or whatever. If you really don't want to do it, then just leave the money, because it's already been an arrangement from the gate. So whatever. Um, the jury was shown explicit photos that Jane said were taken during the hotel night, and saw notes from her phone reflecting her frustration toward Diddy, calling him a pathological liar. Um, Jane's attorney addressed the court about media and social media reports regarding her identity, requesting that the judge take further steps to protect her identity. Well, while Jane was testifying, they say that Diddy was just leaning on like the defense table and drumming his fingers and everything like that. I don't know if the judge is gonna take that as like body language or trying to, not taking it serious, but that's that was pretty much his demeanor in court. Um, According to reports, Jane is expected to continue her testimony throughout the day on Monday, um, June 9th, 2025, and potentially well into the week, if not the entire week. Her direct examination by the prosecution is expected to conclude on Monday, though. So Jane has given 2 days of testimony for the prosecution, and is expected to give a third day, before she gets cross-examined by Diddy's defense team, which I'm pretty sure will be another 2 to 3 days, if not longer. Now, no Diddy trial recap is complete without a rumor report, right? Of course not. So there have been discussions related to the alleged sex tapes that were shown to the jury during the Diddy trial. These sex tapes dated between 2012 and 2014 and were recovered from a user profile associated with Frank Black, an alias that we already know Diddy was using sometimes to check into hotels. The prosecution introduced those videos as evidence under seal, meaning that only the jury could see them. After news broke about Piazza's testimony, there were claims about the existence of other sex tapes involving Diddy and celebrities, including alleged minors. However, the individuals who made these claims were sued by Diddy for defamation, with Combs' legal team saying that these alleged videos do not exist and were fabrication. But, hey man, the rumors. I also saw a post circulating that claimed that the judge in Diddy's case said that he could see where Diddy may have had control over Cassie and other victims, but did not see how this applied to RICO. But I couldn't find anything verifying that information when I was doing the research. What I did find was that a federal judge dismissed the civil racketeering case against Diddy in a separate lawsuit brought on by former producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones. But these claims were related to contractual disputes, and the judge found a lack of connection to alleged any racketeering activity. So pretty much that happened on March 25th, and the judge ended up dismissing 5 out of the 9 claims brought against Diddy by Lil Rod. The RICO claim was dismissed because the judge said that Lil Rod did not sufficiently demonstrate the link between the alleged criminal enterprise and Diddy's failure to pay him for work on an album. The breach of contract claim was also dismissed due to New York state law requiring that a written contract be present for agreements lasting longer than a year, which was the case here. 3 claims related to emotional distress were also dismissed. However, the lawsuit is still moving forward. Significant claims of sexual assault against Diddy and his chief of staff were allowed to proceed. The Trafficking Victim Protection Act, or TVPA, claims against Diddy and his chief of staff were also upheld. Claims related to premises liability against Diddy were also allowed to proceed. Now, premises liability is a legal concept where property owners or occupiers are held responsible for injuries that occur on their property due to unsafe conditions. It's essentially a type of like negligence where property owners fail to maintain a safe environment for visitors. So while Diddy achieved the legal victory by having the racketeering and contract-related claims thrown out, the lawsuit regarding the serious allegations of sexual assault and sex trafficking will continue. So that just seems to be the bulk of this dude's problem. You know what I mean? Talk about can't stop, won't stop. Hell, talk about more money, more problem. Like, with a whole lot of I'm coming out in the mix. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, that's this week's recap of key events from the Diddy trial, week 4. Jump in the comments, let me know what you think, you know what I mean? And if you're still here, I appreciate y'all. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Smash that notification bell if you're really mobbing with the content. And as always, stay dangerous so you can be safe, especially if Diddy's standing behind you. It's your boy DAALIGHT, DAALIGHT TV. I'm out.